Good morning, beautiful people. So this video is to clarify a few of the application questions that I've received since the last video. So for those of you following my channel, I'm based out of California, United States. Some of you have reached out to me from Canada. Some of you are outside the country. I have subscribers in Norway, etc. And that's great, but just keep in mind that the law enforcement advice and guidance that I provide on this channel is mainly for California. Although United States, it's all American. Every state and has different policies and procedures, but for the most part, this applies to California. Now, I know surrounding states, Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, close to California, does use California Post, which means Peace Officer Standards and Training. Most of the stuff that I talk on this channel is for California hiring. So the first question that came up was someone was asking for me to kind of break down the hiring process of becoming a law enforcement officer. And so the first step, obviously, is your desire to go out there and become a peace officer, right? A member of, public service. And so that has to start with you if you're watching this channel, or a family member if you're going to forward this channel to somebody else. And so once you have that desire, you have to take into account a couple things: your age, your physical ability, your mental ability, your mental state, things that you're going through in your personal life. Because when you go through the background investigation, that's all going to take part of the consideration whether or not you will be hired. So once you have the desire, once you have the physical ability, mental ability, and your life is squared away, like you're not doing drugs and all kinds of stuff that will wash you out, then that's where you start. And if you're under 18 watching this video, if you're in high school, you can obviously start with the police explorers, police cadets, etc. If you're over 18 watching this video, I recommend that you start at the community college, your local community college or university, and start taking some courses, criminal justice courses, to fully understand what is asked of you as a peace officer. What kind of laws you're going to enforce. What is a typical day that a police officer goes through, or a deputy sheriff, a highway patrol, etc. And so those are important for you to take. If you can, take report writing courses to get you prepared for that, right? In California, Senate Bill 2 just passed. It's in effect now in 2022. And Senate Bill 2 now requires that a person is at least 21 years of age before they get hired as a peace officer, corrections, etc. So this changes the game plan for some of you that were intending on becoming correctional officers at 18, 19, 20, and 20 and a half, etc. So now you have to be at least 21. So if you just graduated high school, the plan is to obviously get yourself prepared for the job, right? I don't recommend that you become a police explorer after you're an adult, because that can in fact affect your ability later on, because you're going to be supervised by people who are 15, 16, 17, and here you are 18, maybe taking college courses, and that's going to affect that. I'm talking a bit fast because I want to make sure that you guys get as much information as possible in a short video. So anyway, that's to cover that, right? So let's talk about the hiring process specifically. Let's just say you are 21 or 20 and a half. You want to start the hiring process. And the first step in California is to take the Post-Pellet B exam, POST. That stands for Peace Officer Standards and Training, as I mentioned earlier. That's the organization that controls the standards for becoming a peace officer. You have to really get to know this word, peace, post, because all of your training in law enforcement is going to be certified by post instructors, by the organization. So anyway, once you check with your local law enforcement agency to find out when they offer the post exam, you can only take it once a month. It's free. You show up there, take the test. Once you pass the post-Pellet B exam, you now qualify to go to the next hiring process to become a peace officer in California. And so what is the post test all about? I have several videos on it, but basically it's to measure your grammar, writing, reading comprehension, punctuation, spelling ability. They want to make sure that you have the basics down before you start the police academy. They do not want to hire you and then have you fail because you simply can't write a decent report. As I mentioned in previous videos, a large portion of being a peace officer in 2022 is writing police reports, being able to document what you did and be able to testify later in courts so that the prosecutors can win cases, etc. So the post-Pellet B, once you got that checked off your list, you now qualify to apply to one of 400 and whatever 80 law enforcement agencies that you desire to apply to. So the next step is going to be the physical agility. And I asked you in the beginning of this video, are you able to have the physical stamina needed to get over the 6-foot wall, to get over the chain link fence, to run 500 yards, to run a mile and a half in under 12 minutes, all of those things, right? So some of you may have to lose weight. Others need to work on endurance. So physical agility test is a big deal. Once you pass the physical agility, then you go on to the interview, the job interview. And I have also some videos on the interview, and you need to really understand how important this interview is. Once you're done with the interview, you need to grab your smartphone and record the questions that were asked during the interview process and how you answered those questions. Because for a lot of you, especially those of you that have no law enforcement experience, you simply don't understand that some of your answers don't make you look like a qualified candidate. I know it sounds basic, but we're going to ask you some critical thinking questions. What would you do in this situation to see if you're going to be able to survive in a law enforcement job? Are you going to be able to be a quick thinker on your feet? Like that? Are you going to be able to, switch gears, multitask? Do you get frustrated easily? That's not a good thing. Do you get a lot of anxiety? That's not a good thing. And so anyway, the interview, why record it? Because you're going to then be able to talk to people like me and others and run those questions by us. I've been a police officer for many years. I'm now a college instructor. I teach criminal justice courses. And so I know what law enforcement agencies are looking for. And so you should document every single question and how you answered using your smartphone to talk into it to create a voice memo. When you get home, start typing in your computer, create a database of all of these questions so that you can rehearse these questions before the next interview. One more thing before we proceed to the next step. With so many law enforcement agencies, the biggest mistake I continually see you guys making is that you're applying to one agency and then you're sitting on your tush and you're waiting for them to process your background investigation. That is a huge mistake, huge, major mistake. I would pick 5, 6, 8, 10 law enforcement agencies, right? Pick, large, the better, and then just apply all at once, right? And then let them compete for you. If they find out you're only applying to one agency, you're